Hello everyone and welcome to my Sister Wives Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Sister Wives, a ranking of Kody's worst sayings about the 8 worst things Kody said about Meri. Kody Brown, star of Sister Wives, is never very kind to Meri. Before and during their dramatic breakup, he had made some awful remarks about her. Meri Brown is treated poorly by Sister Wives patriarch Kody Brown, and some of his remarks about her are really unpleasant. It appears that he is unaware of the social norm that prohibits males from speaking negatively about women, particularly after they have given birth. But Kody truly doesn't have a middle ground. He either veers between being passive-aggressive or outright mean-spirited, unless he's talking about his queen, Robin Brown. Sabin Robin undoubtedly taught him the art of passive-aggressive manipulation, but the blatant cruelty is entirely his own. 18 may disagree with Kody, who has been channeling Darth Vader for years, but it appears like he thinks Meri deserves the very worst treatment possible. Probably an attempt to make himself appear decent, his attempts to portray Meri as a less than human. He doesn't accomplish that when he gets down. In fact, he demonstrates to the public how his attitude ruined the multiple marriages of the Brown family. Meri is a single woman off-screen, and her recent weight reduction success is unmistakable evidence that parting ways with Kody was the right decision. Still, his hurtful words could hurt. Although Kody from Sister Wives Season 18 feels that Meri cheated on him, he has done a lot to hurt her. Though Meri had her reasons, she did. Still, he was ready to overlook it all in exchange for a few chewy, delicious candies. When Meri gave him a mouth-watering assortment of Rice Krispie cookies, one for each year they had been married, his heart warmed. That was considerate, and even though the gesture made him weaker, it wasn't enough to convince him to stay with her in the end. Technically, she did leave, but in all honesty, he checked out for Meri to bake for this man. Robin had to remind him to give Meri an s'mores at the family barbecue. Robin loudly whispered to Meri, who heard the entire exchange, that Kody ought to bring her an s'mores. It turned out to be another instance of complete humiliation. Meri felt like just another brick in the wall after meeting Kody Brown. This vicious attack reminds me of another brick in the wall, a melancholy Pink Floyd rock anthem. For all intents and purposes, Kody could be singing, "All in all, you're just another brick in the wall." By writing on the wall, he meant that his relationship with Meri was terminal. Throughout the whole barndominium fiasco on Sister Wives, he let his opinions run wild. When he asked Meri to move into an as-yet unrealistic barn with a loft, she was insulted and departed. There was where he intended to keep his motorcycles. Needs to be said about this. The negative is self-explanatory. Under the pretense of attempting to patch things up with Meri, Kody has a really bizarre tendency of trying to make her feel uncomfortable. The barndominium incident is a prime illustration of Kody's lack of manners. He conveys his true sentiments to Meri by making him feel as insignificant as an abandoned item. He acts as though he is worried about her at all times. This is unjustifiable and classic Kody. It's difficult to support him or see his side when he acts in this way. He's simply being unkind. TMI declarations actually need to be made. Kody's biting remark effectively emphasizes his lack of gentlemanly manners. Kody acts well around Robin, but he would definitely turn on her too if she crossed him. Robin is skilled at dealing with the patriarch, who might not be that great of a prize. Robin is aware that she cannot be overly strict. She uses her formidable tools, tears, the previously described passive aggression, and feminine cunning to achieve better out. Kody has admitted that he feels compelled to conceal their romantic tension from Meri because he is unable to resist Robin's attraction. He lashes out at Meri while gushing about Robin, as seen by his vulgar confession that he can't be engaged in a public relations battle both on and off TV, and he isn't afraid to disparage Meri. He has years of experience doing it. But everyone who's seen the latest season has witnessed Kody at his most insane. On screen, he has fallen apart and is blaming everyone else for his troubles. He's demonstrated several flaws that run counter to the alpha male ideal he seeks to propagate. His attrition campaign against his unloved former spouses is therefore not having in his attempts to win his divorces. Christine Brown left with considerable grace, considering what she'd been through, but Kody was unable to summon the same kind of grace. He was excessively resentful and suspicious. This season, he's dangling carrots to entice Janelle Brown to stay, but it's brutally evident to her and everyone else that his heart isn't in it. He doesn't bother with incentives when it comes to Meri. Rather, he would rather humiliate her even more, as seen by his request for her to move into a converted barn that he owns mostly junk from. He isn't able to be in love with her. People love who they love, therefore that's the people who adore them. The true problem here, though, is that Kody seems to take pleasure in making Meri look bad. Is this retaliation for the regrettable sister wives catfishing incident that shattered their bond and caused its untimely demise years later? Perhaps so. Once more, Meri was only lonely. A nicer man would have pardoned her for this transgression. That was visible to all. What was the reason behind her loneliness? Because Robin was Kody's obsession. That is, was no way out. Meri was virtually stuck in a polygamous arrangement. It is not supposed for women to depart. It is expected of them to Meri is doing well off-screen, despite Kody's uncomfortable and all too common criticism. She has even given up on the never-ending cryptic posts. She appears less emotional and is more present in the moment. After a relationship, Meri seems to be more herself. Still, she might fall in love eventually, just as recently Christine did. Meri may be extremely feeble at times, but it's easy to support her. She finds it difficult to stand up for herself and her rights. Instead, she hangs her head. She doesn't deserve the emotional torture she's received, but she's not about his on-screen remark that he can't be in love with by promising to always love Meri. He attempted to lessen the blow, but in reality, he doesn't. Once more, this is very evident. This kind of disclaimer makes him seem more. In actuality, he isn't kind. If that were the case, he would not be making these harsh comments in public. It appears that Kody says these things because he is aware that they will hurt Meri. There really isn't any other justification for repeating what is obviously clear. He make matters worse and inject a little self-pity into the mix. He declared that it was heartbreaking that he couldn't love Meri. This has on her. He is really skilled at what he does. Kody is going to pay a price for his inability to keep silent in the future. Together, they are parents. Kody Brown selects verbal mistreatment for a specific. When Meri contacted Kody on their 32nd wedding anniversary, Kody opted for nastiness. She picked up the phone that fateful April 2022 day, perhaps totally unaware that Kody was about to dump on her rather than celebrate reaching a significant accomplishment. The problem is, he didn't truly put her down when they were on the phone. He held off until after their dinner date. Kody thought that sitting at the table, pretending to be enjoying themselves, would be the ideal time to say, "I don't know why you even bothered to call and say happy anniversary." All of this on screen, and it was quite depressing. But by then, she ought to have known better than to do it. In an attempt to get through to her, Kody continued to twist the knife in that manner. Long ago, any other lady on the planet would have comprehended. Although Kody seemed to be the monster in this situation, Meri's ignorance was a concern. There was no reason for this dinner date to occur. It should never have happened that the phone call before it did. Kody converses with Meri while under pressure. He is not interested in things changing in any way. Meri occasionally fails to notice some crucial indications. She must have found it difficult to disregard the indications this time. They weren't, however, the first indications she got. Meri, I didn't want to be in a relationship in berating Meri during their celebration of their anniversary. Kody was in an especially bad mood for the dinner date from hell. It was obvious he would have preferred to be somewhere else. Maybe he was growing frustrated with faking things with Meri. Meri disputed that they were faking when he informed her so. This was not a good sign for an enjoyable evening. When Kody revealed to her that he had no desire to continue dating his 32-year wife, things became even more awkward. Thank God, Meri is out of this mess of screen. Meri recently shared a photo on Instagram showing that she had a wonderful Thanksgiving with her loved ones. Once more, Kody and Meri's anniversary was a tragedy waiting to happen and should never have happened. I'm sure Meri suffered for weeks following the nightmare incident. There was no chivalry in Kody anymore. For Meri, he will not be tossing coats over puddles. Indeed, it is true. His multiple marriages were archaic compared to the Dark Ages, but his mannerisms are regrettably all too current. Putting up with Meri was the source of Kody Brown's complaints. Can Kody Brown get any meaner? Meri Brown, after losing weight, sister wives shared on Instagram as usual. Kody's definition of marital obligation revolves around Robin. For that reason alone, he was putting up with Meri. He wants her to appreciate him. The number of terrible things Kody has said about Meri, who appears to be such a sweetheart on film, is nearly astonishing. But Meri might be more complex than first appears. Another contentious Sister Wives star, Peyton Brown, claimed that Meri mistreated him and other Brown children when they were growing up. Meri never replied to the accusations. Kody and Meri have broken things off as they were a terrible match. But what transpired over the course of 18 occasionally taxing seasons of Sister Wives will never be forgotten. Meri and Kody will always have to live with the memory of their terrible relationship. I hope they are able to move past it. The full quote can be seen here for readers to comprehend. I'll pretend to be in love with Meri, carrying out my husband's obligations, sort of putting up with things that make me uncomfortable being around her since they irritate me so much. If it's necessary for the sake of, well, I'm not sure I'm able to pretend lacking in manners. His statements are ridiculous. It's insane when you put all the quotes together. Fortunately, there was one positive outcome from their incredibly unhappy relationship. Leon Brown, their adult kid, has grown apart from the Brown family, partly due to Kody's lack of support throughout their transition. Although brave, Kody's trans child is a coward to toe. Kody melted down his wedding ring because he didn't want Meri to have claim on him. Kody Brown expends a lot of energy attempting to harm Meri Brown. Before losing weight, Sister Wives heist when he melted down the wedding band that represented his union with Meri. Again, how needless was this? It was awful enough to do it, but the lowest of all was to discuss it in public. If the wearer doesn't believe in what the ring stands for, it has no significance. As long as someone believes that this inanimate object is a symbol, it has no more power than what exists in their minds. It's simply a piece of metal, and he didn't believe in it. Its melting reveals a great deal of suppressed fury. Kody requires more healthful outlets. He's grown so cynical and resentful to despise Meri Brown. The TLC clip above shows that there aren't enough hurting tunes and heartbreak ballads to truly convey what Meri has been through. It's all falling apart now, and Kody is sharing way too much. Regretfully, he seems utterly unwilling to resolve his differences with Meri. To his credit, the issues don't seem to have an answer. The fact that Kody worries about judgment is mentioned in the video. He is already completely checked out if his fear of criticism prevents him from addressing problems.